sister girl AyChristene, and today we're checking out an animation or animatic, not really sure. This is Miscellaneous Myths, Eros and Psyche. This is by Overly Sarcastic Productions. So this is probably gonna be funny, or maybe not. Maybe I just completely missed all these signs here. But this was a suggestion you guys gave me, and you guys said I was gonna really like it. Link for this video is in the description box below for you to check out. Now let's get started.
This is a true story. Okay. Last year, spring quarter, for my third quarter of Greek thought and literature, I took a course on love. My teacher is an absolutely gorgeous man with a beautiful accent and the most piercing of eyes. And one of the things he taught us was that for the Greeks, love had many different meanings. There was agape, the unconditional love of one's fellow humans. Phileo, platonic love of one's friends. Storge, love of family. And Eros. Now, of these four, Eros is definitely the most well-known. It's the deep, passionate love one feels for a romantic and or sexual partner. And not so coincidentally, it's also the name of the Greek god of love. Eros, as far as gods go, has been through many incarnations. There's the aspect of Eros that's an ancient primordial deity older than the gods themselves, and in that incarnation, Eros is characterized as a being even more powerful than Zeus, in part because he could jerk the guy around like a puppet. See every myth where Zeus couldn't keep it in his pants, also known as every myth. There's the aspect of Eros that's the child of Aphrodite, representing love as a consequence of beauty. And then there's Cupid. We don't like to talk about him. Now typically those first two representations exist concurrently in the same character. Eros will simultaneously be Aphrodite's son and a powerful and ancient force that even the gods fear. I say typically, but really there's only one data point to draw from. There's one major legend about Eros, and that is the myth of Eros and Psyche. So Psyche is a princess, but not just any princess, a beautiful princess. Plot twist. But she's not just any beautiful princess, she's a lonely beautiful princess. Plot twist. But she's not just any lonely beautiful princess, she's a lonely beautiful princess even more beautiful than Aphrodite. Oh, that ain't good. In fact, since Psyche is so incredibly beautiful, people have started worshipping her instead of Aphrodite. Oh, wow. It's just like high school. Now, those of us familiar with Aphrodite through the Golden Apple, the Iliad, or just Greek mythology in general, know that she doesn't really handle people being prettier than her very well. But Aphrodite has just the plan to take Psyche down. She'll make her fall in love with a hideous monster. Aphrodite, you are a goddess. Why don't you just kill her? Aphrodite knows just the guy to call and summons her son.
Or get over it. Like, you gonna get other people, like, make other people believe in you again. She ain't gotta die. That chick ain't gotta die just because you... Calm down. Chick, sit down somewhere, bruh.
Eros to make Psyche fall in love with something gross. Eros scoots down to the mortal world to do the thing, but when he sees the beautiful Psyche, he's startled by her gorgeousness and accidentally stabs himself with one of his arrows. Way to go, smart guy. But meanwhile, back in the mortal world, Psyche is, we recall part 2 of her characterization, very lonely. See, she's beautiful, but in a way that people worship from afar.
So
she wants to be loved, but she's just too beautiful for this sinful world. And it's really starting to get on her nerves. So she goes to the Oracle and asks her if she'll ever find true love, and the Oracle responds that she will. But she'll fall in love with a terrible monster that even the gods fear. So Psyche is taken to a big scary cliff and left there so her monster boyfriend can find her, and Zephyr, the west wind, carries her off to her monster boyfriend's gorgeous and luxuriant palace. Man, Greece has way classier monsters than we do. Anyway, turns out her monster boyfriend is invisible, and he tells her that she'll be totally safe.
There's like a lot of text here. Let me read this. Hi, welcome to my house. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Anyway, turns out her monster boyfriend is invisible, and he tells her that
he's invisible. She's okay, glad that worked out. Thanks, because this is my thing now, invisibility. Pretty cool, right? So silly.
She'll be totally safe and provided for by his many invisible servants, but she can never see him, not even when they do the sex thing. So Psyche's totally chill with living in luxury with her invisible monster boyfriend, but one day she's paid a visit by her two sisters.
By the way, she has two sisters.
Who are jealous of her living situation and convince her to find out the identity of her monster boyfriend, and if he really is a monster, to kill him before he kills her and her unborn child.
Dear! By the way, she has an unborn child.
Psyche sneaks into her monster boyfriend's room with a lantern to see him and a dagger to maybe murder him with. But as soon as the light touches him, she sees that her invisible monster boyfriend is actually a very visible, super hot boyfriend. None other than Eros himself. Surprised by his gorgeousness, Psyche, say it with me now, accidentally stabs herself with one of Eros's arrows. That's hard to say. And is now double in love with him. But the lamp boy also thinks Eros is super cute and a little bit tries to get closer to Senpai and ends up splashing on him. That's not hyperbole. The book actually says that.
Really?
Not the Senpai part, but you know. So Eros wakes up because ow and flies off because betrayal, leaving Psyche alone and regretting her life choices. Eros flies back to Aphrodite to nurse his minor burn and feel sorry for himself. And Aphrodite, now like twice as mad at Psyche, scoots over to her and tells her that if she wants her boyfriend back, she needs to accomplish 4 tasks for her.
Okay, by the way, her sisters fell off a cliff and died. Wait, what? What? Oh my goodness, her sisters fell off of a cliff and died? I liked how she puts them as like little, these are important things, and she's like, that's really funny, it's really funny.
So Psyche agrees, and after Aphrodite slaps her around for a minute to make herself feel better, she gives Psyche her first task. She throws a mixed assortment of grains on the ground and tells Psyche she has one day to sort them all by type. This is obviously some BS, but Psyche is basically an archetypal Disney princess, so while she's sitting there pondering the BS-itude of her current situation, a nearby nest of ants take pity on her and sort the grains for her.
Oh, really?
So obviously Aphrodite's pissed that Psyche managed to do the thing, so she makes the next task even more problematic and tells her to go get some golden fleece from the sun sheep that live across the river. While Psyche's busily trying to drown herself,
by the way, she's
a local spirit tells her that the sheep will kill her if she's not careful. So rather than try and rip a chunk of their fleece off, she should just gather fleece that got caught on the nearby thorn bushes. So she does, and Aphrodite gets even more pissed. So she tells Psyche to take this goblet and go get some water from the river Styx, which is a problem because there's a cliff face and several dragons in the way. But this time, Zeus himself helps her out and sends down an eagle to beat up the dragons and bring her the water.
That's good. By the way, hold on. Hold on. Let me read that. That goes by really quickly. By the way, the gods aren't allowed to help her directly, even though they all agree Aphrodite's being a total, yeah, she is. Aphrodite is being a butt face. Like what I was saying earlier, Aphrodite needs to sit down somewhere because, chick, calm down. Like, you's a goddess. Like, if I was a goddess and there's some chick that's really, really beautiful, I ain't worried about that chick because she gonna pass. I'm gonna be here forever. I'm a goddess. So, come on, man. Calm down.
So last but not least, Aphrodite gives up on the subtlety and literally orders Psyche to go to hell. Specifically, to bring a fancy box to the underworld, take a little bit of Persephone's beauty and put it in the box, and then bring it back and give it to Aphrodite. By the way, at this point, Eros is all better and has long since forgiven Psyche for the whole betrayal of trust thing. But Aphrodite is having none of that and keeps him confined to her palace while she tries to do the vengeance thing. So again, with help from various household objects and noted landmarks, Psyche makes her way to the underworld and gives the box to Persephone, who does something to it and then gives it back. So Psyche leaves the underworld with the box, but then it occurs to her that if the box has pure beauty in it and she's about to go see her boyfriend again, she might as well use the magic beauty box to freshen up a little. Unfortunately, as soon as she opens the box, it turns out the only thing in it was murder. So Psyche low-key dies, but Eros escapes Aphrodite's palace while his mom is distracted and flies to Psyche, casually fixes the whole dead thing, and flies up to Olympus with Psyche to be properly married. Zeus is cool with it, tells Aphrodite to back off, and gives Psyche some ambrosia, which makes her into an immortal goddess. She and Eros are married as equals, and when their kid is eventually born, they name her Hedone, which roughly translates to joy.
That is cute! But by the way, Psyche represents the human soul. Psyche means soul, so this entire story is a metaphor for the union of love and the human soul and how it gives birth to happiness. It's very sweet and complicated. Cupid, as he's seen in the modern day, is actually I can only think of one way to say that word, and it's like a Spanish bad word, but I know I don't translate, but I don't want to say it. So it is actually, which are those fat little baby angels in Renaissance art. They're sometimes called cherubs. Yeah, I've heard that. But this is inaccurate, as cherubs are terrifying, four-faced monsters with wings for days. Wow. Way to kill that for me. Psyche's sisters fall off a cliff. Hold on, let me make sure. Because they tried to get Zephyr to fly them to Eros' palace. But he's all like, nah, and lets them drop off the cliff without catching them. Ruthless, man. Not ruthless. Ruthless. There's a Balkan folktale. There's a Balkan folktale called The Crab that's very similar to Eros and Psyche, except Eros is a were-crab. Does that mean he turns into like a crab instead of werewolf? Turns into a crab? That's unique. And of course, it's also very beauty and the beast, what with the woman marrying a monster. I get there's just not that whole, like she went to find him versus the Stockholm Syndrome note that people like to put on Beauty and the Beast that I don't agree with, but I can see what they're saying. To the skies, actually, the girl marries a monster animal demon that turns out to be a hot guy story is bizarrely recurrent, yes. Psyche has butterfly wings in most... Okay, this is going really fast. Okay, no, stop. Okay. Psyche has butterfly wings in most classical representations, although I'm not super sure why. This has been an overly sarcastic production. Oh, okay. I thought this was a pretty cool way to learn something, and which is really fitting for, Valentine's Day, which has passed, but we're still in the month, so celebrate, yeah. And the Greek stories, I remember in high school I really loved learning about Greek stories But they were all so, like, the gods, a lot of them, or if not all of them, were very humanistic, you know? And you would think that because they're a god or a goddess, that they would be way above things like jealousy and deceit and lying and all that stuff, but that's not the case with these Greek gods at all, and they really do not care about you and what you stand for. If you stand in the way, if they get jealous of you, they're gonna find a way to get rid of you. And that's how they be. And I really did enjoy the story about Eros and Psyche and how they fell in love and how he turned out to be the monster and things like that. But the point I do want to know, okay, he knew who she was, and it seemed like he tricked her to fall in love with him because he was an invisible monster, like the worst monster ever. He was that monster she was gonna fall in love with, but it wasn't a monster, it was him this whole time. So I want more information on that part. That particular part we kind of just glossed over. Nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I think the artwork was good and the story was very interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you liked the video, check out the link in the description box below and support the creator there. If you like this video, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. I love you guys as always, and until next time,